All right. Watching the world burn, the Burn channel on Rumble. Let's get into the day's topics. Thought I'd start with Scott Ritter. Let's not even give him any introduction. He's been an outspoken advocate for peace in Ukraine. He's definitely talked about nuclear non-proliferation. And let's just let him speak for himself. I thought this was a great way to start the video.
Belarus goes nuclear. Who the fuck it? I mean, it's not like Russia hasn't been warning us. You see, when the United States positions B-61 nuclear bombs in 4 NATO nations, non-nuclear nations, by the way, nations that under the Non-Proliferation Treaty don't have nuclear weapons capability, but they do, because the United States provides them with those weapons. And they have aircraft where their pilots are trained to employ those weapons. And then we have the French, we have the British with their independent nuclear arsenals, but are they independent? They're part of NATO. So when the United States speaks of arms control with Russia, they try to say it's only about America versus Russia, but we can't touch the American bombs. No, those are NATO weapons. And we can't touch the French and the British arsenals because those aren't American. So Russia's decided to even the playing field. In retaliation for the ill-advised British decision to deploy Challenger 2 tanks equipped with depleted uranium anti-tank rounds, Russia has said that they will position nuclear weapons in Belarus, and that these weapons will be releasable to the Belarusian military in times of conflict. Iskander missiles, aerial-delivered bombs. Belarus is now the equivalent of the Italians, the Dutch, the Germans, and the French. Yes, this is what it's come to. The end of arms control, the end of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty, the beginning of the end, the abyss. We're staring it in the face. Is it Russia's fault? No. Russia's simply reacting to an aggressive posture undertaken by the United States and NATO designed to weaken Russia, to destroy Russia. But history shows us that nations armed with nuclear weapons cannot be destroyed, will not be destroyed. So rather than try to achieve the unachievable, maybe it's time the United States, Great Britain, France, and NATO realize that the proper direction is one where nuclear weapons are de-emphasized, where disarmament is the objective, and maybe we'll find that nuclear weapons will no longer be in Belarus, but that'll only happen when there's no more American nuclear bombs on European soil, and the French and the British have given up their respective nuclear arsenals. This has been my 2-minute topic. Remember, knowledge is power.
All right, Scott Ritter, I tell you what. He is a smart dude, and I listened to everything he has to say. Of course, a lot of people borrow his material, and I'm sure he gives it freely. And I tell you what, he's a hell of a guy, and I hope that his message will get out to the public. But of course, you'll never see him on like a Fox News or any of the mainstream media, and just basically on a channel like mine where 10 people watch these videos. By the way, I did find out because the other day I didn't age censor my video, because I've been doing that myself, to keep it 18 and above. And YouTube did it for me because they want so few people to watch these videos. So that's fine. That's fine. I just make them. It's just kind of a hobby. Let's get into some of the news. So inflation in Russia, unlike the United States, is below 4%. So I thought that was pretty impressive, considering that we're running at about, 16% or so? If you're buying CDs or whatever, you might be making 4 or 5%. You're definitely not keeping up with inflation. But the other thing that was interesting in Russia was that if you're buying, it used to be like when you had a savings account here in the United States, you could actually earn above the inflation amount. So it paid to be a saver rather than a borrower. And then, of course, that flip-flopped big time once we went down to 0% in interest rates. Russia is another impressive thing, is that they're paying down their debt, unlike us. I mean, we're just increasing our debt by trillions. And, of course, we got the Democrats in charge. We're increasing our debt by trillions and trillions. and trillions of dollars. How long do you think that's going to last? I mean, it's the blowback's going to be incredible, and you got to laugh. You got to laugh about it. I mean, I can't believe Democrats think that you can just keep printing money, and it's never going to come back to haunt you. And of course, the Russians are also continuing to accumulate gold, just like China, just like India. A lot of the world's accumulating gold. So you tell me. And I think we'll get into the death of the dollar after watching a couple more videos. So let's see. Let's see what I want to show. I got to go up to the top. All right. Oh, yeah. This is a good one. I want you to watch Trump. And I'm going to comment on this because he's absolutely right. And, of course, he all over the news. He's been indicted. I don't know. It's just a sad statement. We're now a banana republic for the United States. But we'll watch his video. And like I said, I'll pause it when I get to the point where I want to comment on it.
Calling Russia a gas station with a bunch of nuclear weapons, or calling Putin, quote, authoritarian gas station attendant with some legacy of nuclear weapons from the old Soviet Union, is exactly the kind of simple-minded thinking that has produced decades of failed diplomacy and ultimately war. And where is that war going? Those such as Mitt Romney and Ron DeSantis, very much alike, who insist on arrogantly treating Russia as deeply inferior.
So, a lot of people, and me too, I mean, I tell you what, Ron DeSantis has done a great job here in Florida. But when you look at his voting record up in Congress, he's a neocon. And he's definitely belittled Russia. And he's supported by the establishment. I hate to say it. And as much as I worship DeSantis, and I always finish my videos, the great leadership of Governor DeSanctimonious, it doesn't mean he can't be wrong about a lot of things. And so what Trump is pointing out here is that DeSantis is a neocon establishment Republican from his voting record from before. Now, he certainly changed, I think, in a certain respect here in Florida, but his campaign is being run by neocons. And so I'm not sure that he's the dude that we want. So I'll be voting for Trump. Just want to throw that out.
To the other nations of the world, with no history or culture or pride, are not only ignorant and foolish, but their attitude makes it impossible to negotiate peace. Absolutely impossible. Under my administration, we were tough on Russia, tougher than any administration before, but we also demonstrated respect for Russia and the Russian people. We demonstrated understanding for Russian history and the fact that Russia lost over 20 million lives in World War II. They were fighting with us. This kind of neocon rhetoric mocking Russia's nuclear weapons, along with implying that Putin must be tried and presumably executed as a war criminal, only increases the chance of deadly nuclear escalation. Fundamentally, it shows a lack of depth, a lack of seriousness, and a lack of sophistication on the subtleties and complexities of foreign policy. You can't do certain things and end up with peace. This is not the time for an on-the-job training as we face the possibility of nuclear war. And our leaders, if you call them that, got us there. This is where we are. The word nuclear was never even mentioned during the Trump administration. Now it's being mentioned every hour of every day. We need a statesman and a peacemaker in the White House, not someone who recites mindless and recycled talking points to win the approval of the failed foreign policy establishment that didn't know what they were doing. In 2024, I am the only candidate who can prevent World War III. I will prevent World War III. There's nobody else that's going to do that. Thank you very much.
Now, what he's pointing out there is that we treat the world with disrespect because we've pretty much had the upper hand. And, we rolled over Libya, we've rolled over Syria, we've rolled over Iraq, you name it, Bosnia, Syria, But, you're not going to roll over China and Russia, or Russia by itself, or even China by itself. You have to treat their adversaries, okay? They're not your enemies, okay? You can have a good relationship with an adversary and treat them as such, which is kind of what Trump did with China. We had the tariffs and everything that he did. He treated China with respect, but yet he knew that they were an adversary, and he knew that they're plotting our destruction. In the long term, the Chinese think in the long term. We think in the short term here in the United States. Let's get through a couple more. This is a weird video out of China with a bunch of trans people talking to kids. I don't know. It's just bizarre. I won't even show that. It's just they're going like, oh, isn't it great? I guess the Senate finally voted. I didn't even know about this. I hadn't heard anything about it, but I guess they finally voted to repeal the military force authorization for destroying Iraq with all of our depleted uranium rounds that are now in. Of course, we started the video with that because now we've put them on Ukrainian soil, and I don't think you know what a huge deal that is. We've got all these leftist lunatic climate change people talking about how a 1 degree temperature increase is going to destroy the world. Well, what do you think's going to happen when you use a bunch of depleted uranium rounds in Ukraine and pollute the breadbasket of the world? That soil in Ukraine can grow amazing amounts of food for the entire world, and yet we're going to destroy it just because we want to fight a war with Russia? It doesn't make sense to me. By the way, this is a good video here. It just shows you, you're not up against Libya. You're not up against, I've said this multiple times in my videos, Russia. I mean, they have come into their own as far as military hardware. This is just a cool video. Let's watch this. Boy, I like the painting, though. Isn't that pretty cool? I mean, look at the hardware mounted underneath the wings, huh? All right, let's cut the video off there. It's just kind of looks like it's showing some targeting data. Luckily, we don't see anybody get killed. Don't need to watch that. This is kind of a weird video about some Yars. There's just a guy leading them out of the bunker. I won't show that. This is a Soros video. It was just him talking to, looked like Kissinger. And they're talking about the new world. I think these two dudes are just too old. I mean, a good God. They've definitely destroyed the world between the two of them. But I mean, luckily, hopefully, they'll die soon. This was an explosion that occurred in Russia. There's been videos on this, but this is just a 10-second clip. Don't know if it was sabotage. Could have been some Ukrainian forces that got in there and blew it up. It was a huge explosion, and it's been in other videos. I've seen it. This is some equipment, 14 seconds, that they've taken off of some Ukrainian soldiers in Bakhmut. Don't want to play the music, even though it is Russian. They haven't hit me with copyright on that, but I don't want to take a chance on that. But it's just 14 seconds. I just thought I'd show you that. This is, I tell you what, my heart goes out to these guys. Can you imagine, if you're in a war type situation and you've been captured, and I definitely noticed, of course, it's got the Wagner symbol there on the video. And but check out the guy. I mean, the guy in the back with the gun, and the poor guys. They've got their hands taped up. But you never know when one of these guys might want to come at you. So yeah, I mean, but they seem to be treated well. Let's just watch 30 seconds of this.
Вот этих ребят было больше, чем нас, когда мы заходили внутрь. Слава Богу, ребята проявили благоразумие и решили сдаться. Вот они все живы, здоровы, кушают, пьют.
One thing I do notice is the age of these guys. I mean, if this is what they're capturing in Bakhmut, most of these guys are in their 30s, 40s. I mean, when you have, look at the U.S. military, we're 18 to, 32. You're considered a grandpa, in the U.S. military. So I don't know where, I guess maybe we've killed all the young, or the Russians have killed all the young people. Let's get back to de-dollarization for a moment. So the percentage of U.S. dollars is down from 72% to 59% worldwide. So we can see that it's rapidly happening. That's going to spell doom and gloom for the dollar as the reserve currency. Brazil and China will now conduct trade in yuan, no longer in U.S. dollars. And then Saudi is using the yuan to build a refinery for $83.7 billion in yuan, not in U.S. dollars. China and France, this was a huge thing. I mean, I can't believe that France is buying LNG, or liquefied natural gas, from China in yuan. So, I mean, this is supposed to be a NATO country. I mean, where's the United States? I think they'd be over there beating on Macron and saying, no, you can't buy LNG in yuan. You have to use U.S. dollars. I haven't heard anything about that. Maybe it's because he's on the ropes with, a gazillion. How many millions of people are protesting in France right now, burning the whole country to the ground? I've shown you those videos. Let's see. This is a bunch of transgender stuff. Lots of violence on that front. More footage there. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, there we go. I like this video right here. It's only 39 seconds. I thought this was cute. Because you know what? The Democrats never, ever question, how Obama has a $300 million house in Martha's Vineyard. And so I just thought this is like 39 seconds of truth about Obama.
He gave a black man the highest prize in the universe, and then after that we gave him the Nobel Prize for Peace, even though he didn't earn it. We gave to him everything that he needed to succeed. We gave him everything that he needed to succeed. We gave him everything he needed to lead his people. We gave him everything he needed to help black people. We gave him everything he needed to change the world and the dynamics of black people. We gave him everything to heal slavery. We gave him the presidency, and we gave him the Nobel Prize for Peace. We gave him everything. And the nigga failed.
I think that sums it all up, right? Of course, it doesn't sum up where all that illicit money, the grifting money that Obama has managed to the millions. I mean, he's almost a billionaire at this point. Where did that come from? I don't see Trump getting rich off of being a president, do you? I mean, but it seems like the Democrats are okay with their presidents getting wealthy off of being a president and grifting, obviously. Well, I mean, where do you think all that money comes from? You think he's going out and, giving speeches in colleges and he gets paid $1 million for every speech? I don't think so. You know what? I won't show this, but God dang it, I don't understand. I guess the part that I took from this little 51-second clip is like all this adulation from the people. Well, let's just watch it. I'll just comment on it while it's playing. Man, look at these people. They're like little puppets back there, worshiping the globalists that are destroying them and stealing everything from them and taxing the shit out of them. And they're all, they want to get their film and they're all watching and they're going, oh, good, it's so good. We've got these global elite, the aristocracy for our country, and we're going to sit back here and wave our little flags and praise them with all the pomp and circumstance. It makes me want to puke. Can't watch any more of that. By the way, let's watch this 34-second clip. Good Lord. I mean, it seems like trains are derailing everywhere. I wonder, how much of this is terrorists that are coming across the U.S. border. Maybe they've gotten into Canada. I think Canada, they're a globalist nation under Trudeau, so probably there's a lot of terrorists there. I wonder if these are people tearing up the rail lines so that the trains derail. How else can you explain all of this death and destruction? Let's keep going. The NAACP wants a travel ban to racist Florida. By the way, I didn't know that I was in a racist state. I just call it the free state of Florida. Like I said, under the great leadership of Governor DeSanctimonious. But the NAACP is warning all black people not to come to Florida. Please, God, don't come to Florida because we are a racist state. Although I tell you, I see black people on the trail every day. Normally we just wave to each other. I'm riding my bike or whatever. And I've done actually some interviews with some black people, I mean, my God, I never really thought about the color of their skin to be. They're just somebody else on the trail that seems like a nice person, and we always chat and have a good time. Anyway, and I always see at the playgrounds here in Florida, the black kids playing with the white kids. Doesn't seem to be anything going on there. Usually it's a couple of white couples hanging out with some black couples, having a barbecue, maybe a church thing. I'm just surprised that the NAACP sees that we are a racist state. So if you're black, don't come to Florida, according to your NAACP. I mean, definitely give them money. Give lots of money to the NAACP because you want to help them out. This is another one. This is in the Mojave Desert. Man, look at that rail line. You won't hear about this on the news. It just blows my mind that, we don't hear anything about any of this stuff. Other than, you might hear something on Sean Hannity or something, like, oh, we're having a lot of trail and train derailments and there's been 50 or 60, but they don't show you any footage on Fox News. You don't see the death and destruction. I don't get it. Let's see. Words can't describe. Oh, yeah, this is just another trans video. Really bizarre. This was a conspiracy thing that they're accusing the United States of causing the earthquakes in Turkey because a U.S. warship went in and it had some equipment that supposedly can cause earthquakes, and so they were talking about that. Boy, I tell you, if you want to watch a crazy-ass conspiracy video, this is 15 minutes of footage, raw footage from the 9/11 attack. I won't show it, but and what it is, I mean, if you go through conspiracy theories, there was a lot of people that claimed that they heard bombs going off underneath the buildings, and that it wasn't the planes melting the steel girders in the from the jet fuel that took the buildings down. They're saying that it was a demolition underneath the buildings that took down the buildings. And this is more conspiracy footage about powerful earthquakes that the U.S. is causing with I don't know, some equipment that we've got. I mean, you can watch these videos. I won't play them. I just thought they were interesting. Now, this is a young woman, and I think she's very informative, and it's 3 minutes and 57 seconds. And I want you to watch this. I tell you, and it's good to see young people that understand this. Actually, let's get into what's happening to the Orthodox Church in Ukraine. Man, I tell you, they are just getting, well, I guess it's the last hurrah. I mean, anytime, just like the United States, the Ukrainian government is lashing out at their church. They're blaming the Orthodox Church. I'm sure, you got to blame somebody when your life turns to shit. So this is what they're doing to the Orthodox Church.
Кажу вам, пане президент, і всій вашій сворі, що сльози наші не впадуть на землю. Вони всі впадуть вам на голову. Сьогодні ви думаєте, що війшовши до влади на наших спинах, на нашому побажанні, і можна з нами так поступати. Господь не простить ні вам, ні вашій родині за цей поступок. Тому що сьогодні, в ці святі хвилини, 220 чоловік братії викинуті вами на вулицю. Тому що ви не змогли прийняти митрополита Київського Онуфрія з синодом. Ви не могли припинити одержимого буйством злоби, ненависті і диявольським збішенням.
I wonder if he even knows this is going on.
Значить, він творить все по вашому дозволу. Горе вам.
In other words, God will have his way in the end. Let's get the last piece of news before I get through the last couple of videos here is, oh yeah, that idiot, I think it was Blinken, he came out and said that Russia is buying ammo from North Korea. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. But you know what? I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe he's telling the truth, North Korea. I mean, I imagine, of course, there's definitely hegemony between China, North Korea, Iran, Russia. We're seeing a bipolar world developing. But I just wanted you to watch a minute or two of this young woman. I'm so impressed by her knowledge. And can you imagine? I don't know. It's hard to tell. She could be in her 30s for all I know, but she just definitely looks really young, and she's extremely knowledgeable about depleted uranium. I bet if you asked a single kid in school, in any high school in the United States, they wouldn't even know what depleted uranium was. Listen to this young woman. She's amazing.
Всем привет! Как и обещала, записываю сегодняшнее видео об анонсе Великобритании о поставках снарядов с объединенным ураном на территорию Украины. Многие склоняются к тому, что это эскалация ядерного конфликта на территории Украины. Однако европейская пресса и украинские телеграм-каналы пишут о том, что снаряды с объединенным ураном не являются химическим или ядерным оружием, и они не опасны. И они также уже применялись на территории Югославии, Сирии и Ирака. Однако американское издание Military Watch говорит о том, что последствия после применения данных снарядов на тех территориях были сравнимы с результатами бомбардировок Хиросимы и Нагасаки. Я в это не до конца поверила, а потому решила углубиться и узнать в принципе, что такое объединенный уран и какие последствия могут быть после его применения на территории. Итак, объединенный уран – это один из самых тяжелых химических элементов, изотоп урана, который является наименее радиоактивным из всех его изотопов. Однако его радиоактивность это не отменяет, и он также является опасным. Поскольку объединенный уран, как я выразилась раньше, является одним из самых тяжелых химических элементов, его применяют в противотанковых снарядах для повышения их пробиваемости. И в принципе, сама сердцевина, сделанная из урана, объединенного урана в этом снаряде, она не опасна. Но опасен факт детонации, после которой распространяется пыль этого объединенного радиоактивного токсичного урана на территориях, на которых будет проходить период полураспада данного элемента в течение 4,5 миллиардов лет. И последствия мы могли увидеть в Югославии, Ираке или Сирии. Так, Роберт Крин, командующий британским флотом в период Персидской войны в Ираке, говорил в открытую о том, что у жителей Ирака после применения данных снарядов на их территории начали появляться онкологические заболевания и генетические мутации у их детей. А та же информация содержалась в докладе ООН 1999 года по Югославии и результатам бомбардировок. Потому даже через неделю, месяц или год после взрыва мы не будем знать, какой опасности будем себя подвергать, гуляя по родным улицам наших городов, в которых ранее до этого сдетонировали снаряды с объединенным ураном. Также еще одним губительным последствием станет осаждание радиоактивной пыли на земле, которое будет впоследствии произрастать зерновые и подсолнечные культуры.
That's what I was talking about. If we destroy the fertile ground of Ukraine, we're screwed as a world.
Украина превратится в Чернобыль мирового масштаба. И теперь у меня по традиции вопрос к нашим недопатриотам. Такой формат войны вас устраивает, когда победителей не будет? Когда проиграет
and where everybody loses. Ukraine, Russia, and the rest of the world. And we're yelling glory to Ukraine. Yeah, and it sounds like she's Ukrainian in the video. You tell me. I mean, so she's Ukrainian and is saying, no, we don't want depleted uranium here. This is more about the Greek Orthodox Church. They're gathering. Let's watch this video first. It's got music, so I'm gonna have to mute it, and then we'll get into the Russian special military numbers from 30th of March, and that'll be it for this video. You know what? I'll just let it play. I haven't gotten a copyright violation. Maybe it's because it's Russian music. You know, can you imagine? You know, here you are, you flying drones over it, and you can drop hand grenades on troops. And it's kind of like, you know, back in World War I, this was kind of how the airplanes, they would fly over and they would just drop things out of them biplanes on the troops below. God, I just thank God that I'm out working on my garden. By the way, be working on your garden, man. I planted 2 more pepper plants today. Every day I'm trying to develop my garden to grow food. You know, the shit is hit, or the schmizzy's hitting the fizzy, as a Canadian prepper likes to say. Let's just get the latest numbers. I'll try to crunch them, and then we'll read the final at the end here.
The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue the special military operation. In the Kupiansk direction, Army aviation and artillery fire of the Zapad group of forces inflicted a fire damage on enemy manpower and military equipment near Granikovka, Simkovka in Kharkov region, and Novosolovskoye and Stelmakhovka in Lugansk People's Republic. More than 50 Ukrainian troops and 2 motor vehicles were neutralized.
So that's
in the Krasny Liman direction, aviation, artillery, and heavy flamethrower systems of the center group of forces engaged the units of the armed forces of Ukraine close to Nevskoye, Chervonaya Dibrova in Lugansk People's Republic, and Yampolovka, Torskoye, and Grigorovka in Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy has suffered losses of up to 130 Ukrainian troops, 2 armored fighting vehicles, 1 Grapple arrest vehicle, and 1 Akatsia self-propelled howitzer in this direction in the past 24 hours.
180.
In the Donetsk direction, aviation, artillery, and actions of the EU group of forces eliminated more than 340 Ukrainian servicemen and mercenaries.
Okay, I'm losing count at this point. That's 340 plus 180.
Vehicles,
you crunch the numbers.
Vehicles, 1 Uragan MLRS vehicle, as well as the 20 and the 30 howitzers. In the South Donetsk and Zaporozhye directions, Army aviation and artillery of the Vostok group of forces inflicted a fire damage on the Ukrainian units close to Ugledar and Vladimirovka in Donetsk People's Republic, as well as Malinovka and Sherbaki in Zaporozhye region. The total losses of the enemy in these directions have amounted to over 25 Ukrainian servicemen and 2 armored fighting vehicles during the day.
So what, we're getting near 600
the
or so?
fire damage has neutralized up to 25 Ukrainian troops, 11 motor vehicles, and 3 30 howitzers during the day. Operational, tactical, and army aviation, missile troops, and artillery of the armed forces of the Russian Federation have neutralized 93 Ukrainian artillery units at their firing positions, enemy manpower and military equipment in 107 areas. A self-propelled launcher of the Buchem-1 air defense system of the Ukrainian armed forces was obliterated near Grubenikovka in Sumy region. An ammunition depot of the 126th Territorial Defense Brigade was eliminated close to Olgovka in Kherson region. A fuel depot of the 126th Territorial Defense Brigade was neutralized close to Zaleznichnoye in Zaporozhye region. Russian air defense systems shot down 1 Mi-8 helicopter of the Ukrainian Air Force near Timirovka in Zaporozhye region. Moreover, 1 Grom-2 short-range missile, 3 HIMARS projectiles, and 2 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles were intercepted close to Novoandreevka and Zelený Gai in Donetsk People's Republic. In total, 404 airplanes, 227 helicopters.
Yeah, I always read these numbers myself. So we're at 404 airplanes, 227 helicopters, 3,622 unmanned aerial vehicles, 415 air defense missile systems, 8,472 tanks and other armored fighting vehicles, 1,076 multiple rocket launchers, 4,462 field artillery cannons and mortars, and 9,199 special military motor vehicles. NATO. How long can you continue supplying this equipment and watching it just obliterated? Of course, these are your Russian numbers. You know what? I always put out the invitation if Ukraine or the U.S. military wants to report their own numbers, I'd be happy to report it, but all I get are the Russian numbers. You tell me it's good. Oh, wait, there's one more video I wanted you to see. This is it. By the way, and so I always kind of talk about, that you're not fighting Iraq. You're not fighting Libya. You're not fighting Syria. You're fighting Russia. And this is Russia-Ukraine updates on Rumble. Check it out. By the way, this was Mexico. Basically, they're dissing the United States. They're actually going to join. They're de-dollarizing too. So right on our border, everybody's getting rid of the dollar. But check this out. I thought this was pretty cool. Yeah, you don't see this in Libya, do you? Not in Iraq. Probably don't see it in Bosnia or all the nations that we fought around the world in the last 20 years. Because we're the all-powerful eyes. We're the all-powerful United States. We've never faced a nation that's got this kind of technology. And China's got even better. That's the scary thing. And now we want to pick a fight with them. Look at that. Of course, I guess, North Korea is launching intercontinental ballistic missiles because China has built up them. But look at that hardware. That's amazing, isn't it? Wow. All right, so, you know what? Let's watch the Mexican speech. 2 seconds, 32 seconds, and that'll be it. I'm done torturing you for the day.
Es un país independiente y libre, no una colonia ni un protectorado de Estados Unidos. Cooperación, sí. Sometimiento, no. ¡Viva la expropiación petrolera! ¡Viva México! ¡Viva México!
I love that. Long live oil exploration as Biden shuts down the Keystone Pipeline. Democrats, I can't believe you want to shut down all our oil production, but that's who you are.